this is Mark Rodriguez.
I'm Johnny Rodriguez.
And I'm Brian from Another Terrible Idea, and you're watching the Video Game Masters.
We already talked about Samurai Shodown 1 and 2 before, so today we're going to continue with Samurai Shodown 3 and 4.
Hey, Marky Mark and the Funky Butch.
What?
What the hell? Who is that?
Me? I'm Jack Knives, one of the greatest internet reviewers in all of the multiverse. And I'm here to fix an injustice that you have dared to cause me.
What did I do?
You had the audacity to review Samurai Shodown 1 and 2 without me?
I'm pretty sure that's because you weren't actually on YouTube at the time.
Plus, we didn't even know you.
That's besides. I'll tell you what, I'll let you off the hook this one time, and I'll even bring in the expertise of an SNK seasoned expert.
SNK Neo Geo Man?
Robo Ducky?
Rocky Armas?
What? No, me!
Fuck this shit. I'm out.
Oh, come on, Johnny!
What do you think, Mark? It's your show.
Well, Brian, you've already been in lots of our episodes, and you're also in the opening intro, so I do officially consider you a full-fledged video game master and an official part of this show. So, what do you think?
Sure, why not? Let him help. We've had plenty of guest stars on here so far. Why not one more?
Alright, so on to Samurai Shodown 3 and 4.
痛め静まる占領京四郎美伝の舞を見せてもらういざ尋常に一本目勝負
Released in 1995, Samurai Shodown 3 is
Hold on.
What? We're doing the voiceover.
Here, let a pro show you how to do voiceover. You two, try to keep up.
We need to screen these new guys a little bit better.
Released in 1995 for the Neo Geo system as well as for the Neo Geo arcade cabinet, Samurai Shodown 3 is actually a prequel to the last game, just like many third installments in fighting game franchises at the time. Many of the characters like Charlotte and Ginan Shuranai are missing. Homaru, Nakoruru, Galford, Hanzo, Ukyo, Genjiro, Kyoshiro, and Amakusa all return. Also making it the first time Amakusa is a playable character.
The new characters are Zizumaru, a kid who fights with a giant sharp parasol, Rinruru, who is Nakoruru's younger sister with ice powers, Gaira Caffeine, who fights using grappling moves and his giant beads, and Kubikiri, back from the dead to avenge his own murder and that of his lover, and he uses an awesome bladed star attached to a chain.
The game's story revolves around the end boss, Zonkuro Minazuki, a man whose obsession with being the best swordsman led him to go on a killing spree. This time the main character is Shizamaru Hisame, wanting revenge for the death of his family at Zonkuro's hands.
The gameplay has a lot of new mechanics. The most noticeable one is that now you can charge up your power bar similar to the King of Fighter games, and you can also do a sidestep to dodge attacks, also like the King of Fighter games. You can also do an air block and this cool little dash to circle around your opponent to hit them from behind. You can also hit them when they're down, and you also still have the sword clashes from before and the super special moves like the second game, and of course when your characters start red, they deal a lot more damage. The game still has random items like food to refill your health and bombs to damage whoever's near them when they go off.
Of course, the most noticeable difference is the slash and bust, which allows you to choose two different versions of every character. The slash mode is how the characters played in the last games, but the bust mode has a few different moves. One of the more obvious examples is Nakoruru, who still fights alongside her Hawk in slash mode, but now rides a wolf in bust mode. Also, the characters have different special moves depending on which mode you choose.
いざ尋常に一本目勝負
The final boss is Zenkuro Minazaki, who has a very long sword, which, as you'd expect, causes heavy damage if he hits you with a hard slash.
Oh god, here we go, the final boss. This game is hard as hell. This game is so hard I actually thought that Galford was the final boss, how cheap he was playing. But here it is, we made it to the final boss, SNK Boss Syndrome, let's do this!
You can do it, Mark.
No, he can't. Shut up.
For as difficult as Zenkuro can seem, it seemed like he just can't get past Shizamaru's umbrella.
おばり貴様の顔は忘れそう
Yeah! In your face! Eat my umbrella, bitch!
But after 2 rounds, he still manages to get up and challenges you for one final round. Winner take all.
Damn it, no, I thought you were dead!
But luckily, he is still vulnerable to Shizumaru's umbrella.
Yes, finally! Damn it. Okay guys, so now it's time for our thoughts on Samurai Shodown 3.
Samurai Shodown 3 is a good game, despite the negative criticism. But the major problem a lot of people have with it is the difficulty. But if you're going to play a fighting game in a tournament setting, especially with friends, why would you play a super easy fighting game? That defeats the whole purpose of playing with skill in a fighting game. You're just giving your opponents and giving everyone the opportunity to be on the same level. Some people are better, some people aren't. And if a game is so difficult that you can't master the controls, then you probably shouldn't be playing in the first place. But that's just my opinion. 2 aspects of this game which really stand out for me is the ability to slice your opponent in half, which is just freaking cool. If you can pull it off properly, it really does look awesome. Second thing is that when you get into round 3, all of the sound and the music just dims so low. Fighting becomes darker, and it builds more of an atmosphere for when you're fighting your opponent. Now that, plus the ability to slice your opponent in half, is a massive tribute to classic samurai films, much like Lone Wolf and Cub, Shogun Assassin, along with many other films. And to me, I love that aspect, because I wish that were in more games. I wish that were more in storytelling. Really don't anymore, aside from maybe anime. But in film, it's almost never used properly. But to see it in a video game, that they put that much effort into it, is really refreshing.
Compared to Samurai Shodown 1 and 2, Samurai Shodown 3 still has great graphics, awesome sound, great musical choices. Sometimes the songs are really cool, sometimes there's hardly any music at all. I think that all works really well in the game's favor. The new characters are hit and miss. Not anybody for me who really stands out as a great new addition who I really think adds a lot to the lore. And for some reason, it just doesn't seem to have the same heart that the first 2 games had. I never quite enjoyed it as much as Samurai Shodown 1 or 2.
And now for my thoughts on Samurai Shodown 3, and I'm starting to get the idea that all of these Samurai Shodown games are incredibly difficult. Like, I don't remember them being this difficult. Like, I guess maybe back then it was just me and Johnny playing against each other or the arcades and stuff. We didn't really focus on the actual arcade mode. But wow, these games are so damn tough. And this game also follows that bizarre tradition of, like, Part 3 of all these other fighting games, like Fatal Fury 3, Street Fighter 3 and stuff, where a lot of the main characters you're used to are gone and replaced by all new guys that for better or for worse are there. But I do know a lot of fans probably do miss those older characters like Charlotte and Tam Tam, Earthquake, and all of them. And also, what can I say? The game's interesting. I do like the slash and bust mode. It gives you a reason to play the characters. You can learn the differences between, you know, the slash version of Hamaru and the bust version of Hamaru. It's almost like 2 different characters. So it kind of gives you more to do in the game. But that's all I can say. The game has good graphics, good moves. I do like the specials. I do like the new characters. At the time, it was kind of like I do like some of the new characters. I especially like Shizumaru. But, like, it was still kind of weird and kind of lacking that, like, Charlotte was missing and Earthquake and Genon Shiranui and stuff like that. So it was kind of a mixed bag. It was still fun to watch. Like, I was still kind of curious about the game and how it plays and all that. But, yeah, it was interesting for its time. And now to continue with Samurai Shodown 4. This game was first released on... Yes, Jackknives. Proceed.
Oh, you're too kind.
Whatever.
Samurai Shodown IV, Amakusa's Revenge, was released in 1996 for the Neo Geo, and continues the prequel story directly after Part 3. The game is much lighter in tone in comparison to the darker elements introduced in Part 3, and the most noticeable difference is the old favorites have been brought back.
Yes, Shodown 4 brings Jubei, Tam Tam, and one of my personal favorites, Charlotte, back into the game. Everyone from the previous game returns, and you get 2 all-new characters, Kazuki Kazama and Sogetsu Kazama, brothers and ninjas. Kazuki fights with fire, while Sogetsu fights with water.
The story revolves around the evil half of Amakusa, because I guess he had an evil half, returning to cause chaos upon the land, as well as kidnapping Hazuki, the younger sister of Kazuki and Sogetsu, to use her body as the power source. Yes, you're locked away in what is called Amakusa's castle, and you must fight your way through the other warriors to get there.
Gameplay-wise, it's a lot smoother than Part 3. The air block is gone, but you can still use the dash behind your opponent technique, and you can still do the sidestep. The slash and bust modes are still there, and they also added a suicide move where you can just end yourself to finish the match. The advantage this move gives you is that with your next round, you'll automatically start with your POW bar maxed out. Also, the game brought back fatalities like the first game.
Alright, so now it's time to face a Muxa to see how this goes.
いざ尋常に1本目勝負
Once you enter a Muxa's castle, you face his dark soul. So I assume the Muxa you use in the game is the good half. It's also pretty cool how you can actually see Hazuki floating in the background. A Muxa will always be the opposite mode of what you choose, the slash to your bust and the bust to your slash.
Better brace yourself. You're in for one hell of a gauntlet.
What do you mean? I just beat a Muxa. I mean, I'm done. The game's over, right?
Yes, but were you fast enough to get to the real final boss?
You mean there's more after this?
Oh yeah, Mark, we forgot to mention there's a timer kind of running in the background throughout the entire game. If you can slash your way through the entire game fast enough, you face another boss after Amakusa.
Oh, you don't mean...
If you're fast enough to get to Amakusa and defeat him, you will face Zenkuro once again, as cheesy as ever.
Aw, not him again!
But that's not all. After taking down Zonkuro a second time, your rival appears to beat you while you're down. But you have to defeat them to beat the game.
There! Finally beat the game. Now I'm gonna put this away before Mizuki from Samurai Shodown 2 shows up or something.
Part 4 is honestly the best game of the franchise. It got rid of some of the buggier aspects of Part 3, and it has an amazing roster. Not to mention the fact that it brought back the best character and my personal favorite, Jubei. Felt like a natural transition from each of the previous games into this one. Not only did a lot of the great aspects they kept, but a lot of it just got better and better. Being in a newer light and graphics, especially at the time when SNK was really up against the idea of a home market, was really, really interesting to see. And honestly, this is probably one of the best hidden gems that most people never really care or acknowledge anymore.
Alright, so Samurai Shodown 4 is also kind of sort of more of the same. The game is still insanely difficult, but for some reason I do find it just a little bit easier than Part 3. I can kind of get past a bit more in the game, but like in both games, Galford and Hanzo are the two most annoying, most abusive, most cheap characters. Like, I don't know why. Everyone else is kind of cheap in their own way, and especially if you start playing like the 5th or 6th opponent, of course it gets tougher, but for some reason they really jacked up the AI on Galford and Hanzo, so fucking annoying. But other than that, the game is awesome. More good graphics, more good moves. You also get like more characters, the return of Charlotte, and other characters that were missing for Samurai Shodown 3. So it's kind of a good mix. You get some new characters, but you also get the returns of old favorites, so it's also pretty awesome. But yeah, still no Gananshi Renui though, and still no Earthquake, you know. So if you're a fan of those characters, I guess it's still kind of too bad it didn't come back. But it is cool to see Charlotte and Tam coming back. But yeah, not much I can say about the game. It is interesting to bring Amakusa back into the focus because he was the final boss of the first game, and he's been kind of forgotten since. So here, he kind of comes back to the focus. I do like the storyline about him using the sister of these characters to, I guess, draw power from. And I love how the background actually has her levitating as they're drawing the power out of her. That's a good touch, and it's more than just a usual, you know, must stop the bad guy because the bad guy is bad. Here you see more of a reason, and yeah, it's annoying to fight Zankuro again, and it's annoying to fight like your rival after all that. So it's like, I can only imagine if you're playing in actual arcade mode, like in the real arcade, that's a lot of money you're throwing in there to beat these guys, because again, this game is incredibly cheap. This game is more fun against your buddy, against your friend, but it's very annoying to play to the arcade mode. It's like maybe just a little bit easier than Part 3, but it's still a chore to go through.
Again, looking at Samurai Shodown 4 in comparison to the other games in the series, it's probably my least favorite, honestly. The sound design is still fantastic, one of the best features of the entire series. But the art style here starts to become a bit, I'm not going to call it cel-shaded, but very soft and it's something that doesn't fit well for me. The character roster is good. Most of the returning characters, a couple of, I'd rather have Nicotine rather than Kyra, but you can't have everything you want. If I were to pick a Samurai Showdown game to play, it's almost in order. I'd play 1, 2, 3, and then 4.
And that wraps up another episode of Video Game Masters. As always, this is Mark Rodriguez.
And I'm Brian from Another Terrible Idea.
I'm Jack Knives. For a much better YouTuber, you can check out my channel and the links down below.
Yeah, he was an odd fellow. But anyways, thanks for watching and see you next time.
This isn't over, Mark. Next time, it's personal. Maybe. If I have time. I have to check my schedule.
Yeah, I'm too old for this shit.
So, where do we find more?
I don't know, man. I mean, we never find them. He always finds us.
Oh, hi, guys.
That's right in my house, huh? More! More! I have a favor to ask of you.
Ha, as if I would help you.
It's about Angel. We need your help to track her down.
Yeah, she's ruining our show, man.
What do I care? Nobody watches your stupid show anyways.
More?
Well, we need your help. That stupid purple bar thing is still there.
Wait, she's the weird girl that keeps laughing at me and making that purple bar thing appear in my room? It's bad enough your show sucks, Mark. Do you really have to send your ghostly fangirls after me?
It's not my fault. I don't know where she came from.
I'm tired of your sucky show rubbing off on me.
And I'm tired of you acting like your show is so much better than ours.
Your show's only good when I cameo. You're just jealous because I'm more popular.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You are not more popular than me, okay?
Hey guys, I have more subscribers than both of you combined, and I'm partnered.
Shut up!
You call yourself a video game master, yet I kick your ass in Blaze Blue blindfolded. I kick your ass in Street Fighter. I kick your ass at Tekken. I kick your ass at any video game you play. Face it, you suck!
Ooh.
That does it. We're gonna sell this right here, right now.
Ha! Do you really think you're man enough to defeat me?
All who oppose me shall be destroyed.
You want to fight? You got it. But first, we must change the location so that innocent people do not get hurt.